Welcome back to the City Current Radio Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to be joined by our next guest, Southwest Tennessee Community College. Here with us, we have Dr. Kendricks Hooker, Vice President of Academic Affairs, and Anita Brackin, Associate Vice President, Workforce and Economic Development and Continuing Education. So, Dr. Hooker, Anita, how are you two doing?
Wonderful.
Give us a little bit. Let's start, Dr. Hooker, with a little bit of an explanation overall for Southwest Tennessee Community College. Hopefully everyone knows a little bit about everything you do in the different campuses, but give us a brief explanation and then we'll talk all about the pivots that are taking place right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So Southwest Tennessee Community College is the largest community college in this area. It's the only community college in this particular part of Tennessee. We are a relatively large institution with 7 locations. Our primary locations are the Macon campus and the Union campus. We offer a variety of programs, associate degrees, we offer certificates. We have, start your career now programs, so complete your career in a year. So we have a plethora of programs to offer our students. In terms of our offerings, you name it. We have your typical Monday through Friday day classes. We have evening classes. We have weekend classes. So we think we've put ourselves in a position where we can meet the needs of all. So whether you're a traditional student that's just leaving high school or someone that's coming back to school from, pursuing a second career, we believe that we can meet your needs. So this is an exciting time for us. It's a challenging time for us, but it's also exciting because we are putting ourselves in a position to meet the needs of everyone as we all try to navigate this new normal that COVID has sort of created. So very exciting times, and Southwest is poised for greatness.
Let's talk about early on. You made a number of really, to me, instrumental pivots early on in terms of moving everything online, training your staff, kind of being flexible on that side. So talk about early on some of the pivots that Southwest Tennessee Community College made. Let's start there.
Well, I think when COVID, the coronavirus, became a reality, Southwest was paying close attention to what local and state governments were saying. Obviously, we were paying close attention to or getting information from CDC. And early on in February, Southwest had created a task force to sort of have these conversations to make sure that we were being proactive rather than reactive. So we created this task force that was meeting on a weekly basis in the event that we had to pivot and go from our normal reality, which was, traditional courses. Many of our courses were face-to-face instruction, lab-based courses. And in a short period of time, I'm talking a little over a week, we had to quickly pivot and move to this virtual world. And that was not an easy task, because when you think about something like that, first and foremost, administrators had to quickly figure out how to navigate in this virtual world. Faculty had to do the same, as well as our students and staff. So we had to first and foremost train, make sure that our faculty were equipped, had the resources, the technology, and all of those things to work in this remote world. We had to make sure that our students were able to navigate the new technology as well, and make sure that they were comfortable enough to deal with this new online environment that they were in which their learning was going to be facilitated. So through virtual counseling, through virtual advising, we were able to meet the needs of our students. Through offering online training certifications for our faculty, and working closely with our teaching academy as well as our digital learning team, we were able to provide faculty with the resources that they needed to facilitate their courses from home. So it was a large undertaking, but we did, in my opinion, we did an amazing job because every single person was on board. That does not mean that there were not tough conversations. We had those tough conversations, but keeping student success as our focus, we were all able to sort of collaborate and put a plan in place to meet the needs of our students.
Anita, talk about some of the free online classes that you all have been offering over the summer. We've had tremendous feedback by putting those in the newsletters and just sharing them, and people really not only enjoying them, but finding great value in them. So talk a little about just that online opportunity and engaging the community in a larger context.
Right. So we've always had hundreds of titles online, and every year we have several thousand people who take these professional development and career certification courses. But we knew that we needed to do a little more when the pandemic hit, and we knew there were a lot of people who had some time, who maybe were at home and looking to upskill. And so we developed 10 courses, all career related, creating a website, customer service, financial planning that we offered through the community. And yes, your support was tremendous. We had over 18,000 enrollments in those courses.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was amazing. My bar kept getting higher and higher because my goal, every time I told Dr. Hooker what my goal was, I exceeded it. So, and yes, the tremendous feedback. And we really feel like for a lot of people, that may have been their first exposure to online learning. They heard about it, they enrolled, maybe with some trepidation of how do I do this online, and they'd come back and enroll in the next and the next. Because some people thought, well, I can enroll in one, and we were like, no, all 10. So tremendous opportunity to engage the community, and I'll say far and wide, because we had folks from around the country enrolling the courses. We had a lot of people here that would share out with friends and family. But again, what it did is, I think, introduce people to online learning, and then we're able to share with them the many opportunities through any part of the college, credit or non-credit, to continue in this online environment. Because as Dr. Hooker said, a lot of what we're doing now is going to be online, and it's just taking that first step to learn how to do that, and to make sure you're comfortable with it. And again, most people, once they got into it, realized anytime, day or night, it's a perfect way to learn.
Carry that forward to what you're doing now, because you have a soft launch that you've done in July, and that's going to lead into a lot of changes in terms of the way you structurally look at the year and kind of break things down. So talk about where we are right now and leading into a new school year.
Well, again, I want to start off by saying it's a very exciting times. So some very exciting times. And as you mentioned, on July 8th, we had a very soft opening. And we offered courses, particularly our career and technical education courses. Those courses that require some face-to-face instruction, they were offered at our Macon campus and our Union campus. Again, meeting with physical plant and academic affairs, we met on a weekly basis to get a sense of the number of students and faculty that will be on campus, so that we could create this plan to ensure that social distancing was occurring, as well as to make sure that when people arrived at campus, that we were putting things in place to ensure their safety. So with this soft opening, things have gone very, very well. So to kind of give you a sense of how that looks, depending on the campus, as if, for example, if at our Macon campus, we created a way where we're able to funnel people into, there's one way into the campus. And when you approach the campus, your temperature would be taken by members of our team. But even prior to that, every person who attempts to access campus needs to complete a pre-health screening. So when you approach one of our team members, what you're going to see happen is that they're going to show that they passed their pre-health screening. Then we would take their temperature. They would then find a parking spot, move into campus. But when they move or attempt to go into campus, they would have to wear PPE. So we're going to provide the PPE, and then they're able to go and just go to their class location for whatever learning that needs to take place on that particular day. So we worked very, very hard to put that plan in place. That plan is obviously going to be significant as we move to our next phase. We're hopeful that we're able to move into our phase 2 plan. So currently the soft open is phase 1. We're hopeful that phase 2 can occur beginning August 24th. that's going to be a little bit more challenging because whereas right now we're dealing with, 300 to 500 people total, now we're looking at thousands of individuals that we're having to do the same thing for. But again, we're meeting on a weekly basis. We're putting the specific protocol and parameters in place to ensure health and safety. And then what we're going to do in terms of our offerings is that all of our classes are either going to be online or hybrid. So online, the entire learning experience will occur virtually. With hybrid, we have two different ways in which we plan to offer that. One, with hybrid, there's an online component and then there's a face-to-face component. So in both modalities of this hybrid that I'm referring to, there's going to be an online component. But the second component can be either Teams or Zoom, what we're doing now, in which the instructor is able to have this opportunity to, again, virtually be face-to-face with students to facilitate the learning experience, or some of our nursing and EMS and physical therapy assistant, some of those programs, they need live touch. So those programs on set days, they will have access to campus for the face-to-face instruction, lab skills, lab-based skills and things of that nature. So it's, again, very exciting. And one of the things that we're going to do in the event that we have courses in which there is some access to campus, those courses will end before Thanksgiving. So that's something that we put in place just to make sure that, with Thanksgiving, we love to travel and do all of those things. So if we end those classes before Thanksgiving, that may minimize the likelihood of individuals traveling and either coming back to campus, risking, increasing the risk of others and things of that nature. So again, very exciting. We've put a plan in place, and I think it's one that we're excited to see what happens.
Talk about laptops. I know this was something that you had to address early on, was access. When you talk about going online, is making sure that your team, but also obviously the students, have access to the technology. And so talk about what that means on the laptop side for what you're doing now.
Well, yes. So when we had to quickly shift to an online world in, like I say, 10 days or a little over a week, I mean, we utilized every single thing that we could possibly use to touch our students, whether that was texting, Facebook, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, we used it all. But we did realize that there was a digital divide because some of our students did not have the technological resources that they needed. So at that time, I believe we had maybe 200 or so laptops that we had loaned out. So what we're doing now is that we've ordered 3,500 laptops that we plan to share with students so that we can remove that additional barrier as it pertains to their ability to access this information and learn. So the laptops have been ordered. We're in a process now of working out the details to distribute these to students. So I keep using the word exciting, but that is very exciting. And as I look across, look at some of our peer institutions, look across the nation, this is something that we're all trying to address because we do understand that there is a digital divide. And then, when it comes to Wi-Fi and things like that, we're hoping to have at the campuses that will be available, hopefully in this phase 2, being the Macon campus, the Union campus, Maxine Smith, and also Whitehaven, we're hoping to have our Wi-Fi sort of bleed into the parking lot. So that creates another opportunity for students to log on and access Microsoft Teams and pause and all of the things we utilize for their learning.
I think that's where it's important for everyone to understand is it's not just necessarily the access to the laptop, like you're talking about, it's the Wi-Fi, the network, it's expanding out the reach. So there's a lot that goes into these pivots to be able to ultimately deliver the experience for the students to be able to learn. And so next, talk about on your end some of the different, you mentioned Career in a Year, and there's a ton of platforms. I know Anita's come on many times talking about just some of the innovative programs that really allow you a great opportunity at a successful career in a very short amount of time. Talk about some of the things that you're seeing when it comes to some of the newer classes, the programs. What are the programs right now, the degree programs that are are really kind of top of mind for what we're dealing with right now? What are the hot ones?
Oh, wow. Well, again, as I mentioned, having the career in a year, having an array of associate degree programs, healthcare. I mean, we have a lot of health offerings. And when you think about COVID-19, the coronavirus, I mean, just a little while ago prior to this, I was looking in California where they were talking about the dearth of hospital beds and how it looks, and hospitals are being a war zone. So we have an amazing nursing program. It's a very competitive program, but we have a nursing program that is top notch. We have students from all around this area that is interested in that particular program. So nursing is going to obviously be on the rise. Again, when you think about the coronavirus and how all of a sudden one day things are okay and the next day things can sort of shift quite a bit. We have our EMT program, the Emergency Medical Technology program, which students are being trained to deal with acute situations to quickly save lives. So I see that program as being a program of need. Though there's no cure for the coronavirus, we do have certain drugs that we use to sort of mitigate or reduce some of the symptoms. So our Farm Tech program, I see as being one of those programs that can be, that's going to sort of be on the rise. So healthcare is whenever there's any type of pandemic, whenever our nation, our community has been challenged with any issues, healthcare and opportunities in healthcare seem to rise. And since we've been on this call or this interview, we've mentioned online, we've mentioned virtual. So our computer technology program, cybersecurity. With cybersecurity, right now, just having a safe space to have conversations like this, and then also keeping these learning environments secure. So I see anything related to computers and being able to operate in this virtual world as being careers that we not only need to promote, that we have, and that we encourage students to take a dive into and trust us to get them to where they need to be.
Anita, let's go to you. I know that you work with employers a lot, and you mentioned before, skilling up and making sure that everyone is really kind of, taking advantage of these opportunities. Elaborate further from what you're seeing from your vantage point of these opportunities to really not only enhance your career opportunities, but possibly go in some new directions and take advantage of these really amazing opportunities to grow and develop.
All right, absolutely. So I think that's where we are seeing, I think a number of the folks who took the free courses we talked about, but our career courses are, I told Dr. Hooker earlier, it's up 350% enrollments from last year. Those are the kind of quick certifications. I say quick, it could be a 3 to 6 month, IT, healthcare, business related, computer applications. So same thing that individuals are upskilling for their next job, or they're in a position now, maybe they had some downtime, maybe they were working from home and a little more flexibility. So significant increase in online certifications, and also for the companies, those who had a little bit of downtime, promoting these courses to their employees, professional development opportunities that we really see are significant for the individual and for the company. We're flexible. We can take our training on site with some of the companies, definitely online, like the academic side has. We've pivoted a number of our courses online, and then on campus as the opportunities arise, and those are primarily around the hands-on equipment, machining or mechatronics or some of those programs. So there's a lot of having been through some of these downtimes before, I think this one has seemed different, and that I think more people are taking advantage of changing careers, of upskilling in a current career than I've seen in the past. And I think a lot of that has just been about the challenge or the technology that's available. 10 years ago, if you had a layoff or were furloughed for a little bit of time, online was not as prominent as it is now. So.
Yeah, I agree. The technology factor is huge in terms of, like you said, if we're quarantined at the house, we now can use that to our advantage to go online and learn and really enhance the opportunities moving forward. Wrap up and talk about tuition assistance, things that you all are really famous to me for removing barriers, and anything that exists for a student success. You say, hey, we're gonna wipe those away because our focus is making sure that students can succeed. And so talk about some of the things, laptops, technology, books, like all these things that you all do. You really do try to remove those barriers. So talk about that, and then we'll wrap up with the contact information.
Yes, thank you for that particular question, because right now our students are wondering how are things going to look, what barriers are going to be removed. So we want to encourage students to trust us, because there are a number of things that we're doing. First and foremost, as you mentioned, we're going to look at providing our students with the technological equipment that they need in order to be successful. Again, we want to close the digital divide to make sure the students are equipped with what they need to operate in this virtual world. We do have tuition assistance, whether that's Tennessee Promise or whether that's Tennessee Reconnect. So for the student that's leaving high school or an adult student that's coming back to college, there are opportunities for us to assist you with your tuition. During emergency times, we have emergency funding to support students in dire needs. Right now, COVID-19 is creating a lot of unknowns for many of us, our students, and the uncertainty is prevalent. So we can assist our students as best we possibly can when they're in need of some just to sort of get over the hump, to assist them in meeting their educational goals. Books. We have the opportunity to assist students with books. I think we have a number of ways to meet the students' needs, whether it's tuition, whether it's the technological resources that they need, books, emergency situations. I think we have a number of plans in place to truly address barriers for our students.
Let's go ahead and wrap up. Talk about website, social media, phone number. Where do we go to learn more?
Southwest.tn.edu. As a matter of fact, it is student friendly. It is user friendly. So if you go on there, you can search, and whether it's Tennessee Promise, whether it's Tennessee Reconnect, all of that is available. We're easy to find. Just that website, and someone will reach out to you.
Well, Dr. Kendricks Hooker, Vice President of Academic Affairs, Anita Brackin, Associate Vice President, Workforce and Economic Development and Continuing Education. Thank you for all you two do and your team. We greatly appreciate it, and thank you for coming on the show.
All right,
Thank you.